Picture this, you're locked in that electric stare across a crowded room, heart pounding like a drum in your chest, feeling the air thicken with unspoken tension. But then nothing. He looks away and you're left wondering, what if you knew the hidden moves to flip that switch, to ignite his passion without chasing or compromising your worth? I've been there, sisters, curled up on my couch after a fizzled date, the chill of rejection settling in like fog on a winter night, questioning every glance and word. Quick aside, it was Stoic wisdom from Marcus Aurelius that pulled me out, reminding me control lies within, not in his fleeting gaze. As women, we often navigate these shadows of desire, caught between our fierce independence and that primal pull toward connection. But here's the contrarian truth. Seduction isn't about manipulation or playing small. It's ethical self-defense, intelligent boundary work that awakens the male unconscious while healing your own trauma-informed self-worth. Drawing from Jung's archetypes, like the siren stirring forbidden depths, blended with Freud's repressed drives and Nietzsche's bold affirmation of power, we'll uncover 12 seductive moves that turn him on instantly. These aren't tricks. They're tools for mutual growth, infused with attachment theory's secure bonds and Epictetus' resilience to face relational pitfalls head-on. Ever felt that quiet storm of unspoken desires brewing, only to let fear dim your fire? What if embracing your shadows, those dark, empowering revelations, could rebirth you into a woman who commands passion ethically with stoic peace? I'm your big sister who's walked these paths, blending Schopenhauer's insatiable will with Seneca's tranquility to rise stronger. In this video, we'll explore archetypal battles in attraction, contrarian wisdom that flips the script on nice girl myths, and strategies for diverse relationships where you master the dynamic, power with not over, always honoring consent and boundaries. If this resonates, hit like and subscribe to Psyche for more game-changing insights that empower your self-mastery. Share with a friend navigating her own love shadows, and drop a comment below. What's one seductive mystery you've uncovered in your life? Let's build this community of resilient warriors together. Now dive in with me. Let's ignite that passion, starting with the siren's call that awakens everything. Have you ever wondered why that spark fades so fast, leaving you chasing shadows in his eyes? Or what if the key to instant passion lies not in chasing him, but awakening the siren within you? I'm talking about that deep, magnetic pull that turns indifference into fire, the kind that makes him lean in without you saying a word. As your big sister in this wild world of love and desire, I've navigated these shadows myself, and let me tell you, it's not about playing games, it's about owning your power. Today, we're unlocking 12 seductive moves that ignite male passion instantly, starting with the foundation. Establishing your seductive archetype, the inner siren that calls to his deepest instincts. Let's get real here. In the realm of attraction, we're dealing with archetypes straight out of Carl Jung's playbook, the anima, that mysterious feminine ideal lurking in the male unconscious. It's the siren song that haunts his dreams, the untamed essence that Freud would say taps into those raw, id-driven desires bubbling under the surface. Men aren't just wired for logic, they're driven by this blind will, as Schopenhauer described it, a relentless force pushing them toward passion without reason or restraint. But here's the empowering twist. You don't manipulate this, you awaken it ethically through your own secure self-worth. Drawing from attachment theory, when you show up grounded and confident, not needy or avoidant, you create a safe space for his desires to ignite. It's mutual growth, sister, not coercion, but intelligent boundary work that protects your heart while drawing him closer. This all starts with awakening your inner power through self-awareness. Think of the siren not as a myth, but as your shadow self, Jung's concept of the hidden aspects we suppress, like that bold, unapologetic femininity we've been taught to dim. By embracing it, you reclaim agency in relationships, turning seduction into a deliberate art form that fosters resilience and emotional fortitude. Stoic wisdom from Marcus Aurelius reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. So apply that here. Master your inner siren and watch how it transforms the dynamic, whether you're in a long-term partnership or sparking something new across diverse connections. Now let's dive into the first two moves that bring this archetype to life. The first is mysterious eye contact, the siren's gaze that pierces straight to his soul. It's not about staring him down, it's a slow, intentional lock that hints at depths he can't resist exploring. I've felt. The second move builds on this, subtle touch that teases vulnerability. It's a light brush of your fingers against his arm or a playful nudge that lingers just a moment, awakening those Freudian undercurrents without overwhelming. This isn't about being overt, it's contrarian wisdom. While society pushes us to play it safe, the siren knows that a hint of skin-to-skin contact taps into Schopenhauer's blind will, fueling his passion ethically because it's rooted in your secure attachment. As women, we often suppress these desires to seem nice, but embracing them empowers us all. Nietzsche would call it affirming your will to power, yours first, then shared. Why do men crave this archetype so deeply? It's layered, revealing hidden realities in the male unconscious. The siren embodies the forbidden, the emotional mystery that pulls him from his stoic facade into raw desire. Machiavelli might whisper about strategic allure, but we reframe it as mutual respect, igniting passion that benefits both, fostering resilience against relational shadows. Yet here's the dark twist. If you ignore your own desires, dimming that inner fire to please him, it dims his too, leading him to seek that spark elsewhere or worse, shut down entirely. But if ignoring your desires dims his passion, imagine what happens when you boldly stir the depths of his unconscious. That's where true ignition begins. Building on that siren awakening we explored, where mysterious eye contact and subtle touch prime the connection, now we're diving deeper into the male unconscious, uncovering moves that stir those hidden desires and turn up the heat instantly. As your wise big sister who's danced with these shadows, I promise you, this isn't about tricks. It's about ethical awareness that empowers both of you, fostering mutual growth in any relationship dynamic. Let's unpack this. Jung's shadow archetype, that hidden self we all bury, shows up powerfully in men's forbidden desires, the parts they repress to fit society's strong and silent mold. It's the untamed urges Freud described, locked away in the id, waiting for a woman who can coax them out without judgment. Blend in Nietzsche's will to power, and you see seduction not as weakness, but a contrarian path to mutual empowerment. You affirm your strength by challenging his, creating a dance where passion flows freely. Men crave this because their attachment wounds, those early hurts from avoidant upbringings or past betrayals, make them yearn for emotional depth, even if they don't admit it. As women, we often sense this intuitively, but here's the dark, empowering twist. By stirring his unconscious ethically, you heal your own trauma-informed self-worth, building resilience against relational shadows with stoic fortitude from Seneca. It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that things are difficult. This leads us to moves 3 and 4, designed to ignite that passion by tapping into these depths. First up, whispered secrets that build intimacy. It's about leaning in close, sharing a vulnerable truth in a hushed tone that makes him feel like the only man in the room. Have you ever whispered something raw, like a hidden fear or a playful confession, and watched his walls crumble, his eyes lighting up with that instant spark? Or wondered why men secretly yearn for a woman who sees their shadows without flinching, offering acceptance that unleashes their repressed desires? This move builds on the siren's gaze from before. That eye contact sets the stage, making your whisper land like a revelation. It's intelligent boundary work. You choose what to reveal, protecting your heart while drawing him in, turning potential vulnerability into strength. And speaking of strength, the fourth move is playful teasing that challenges his ego. This isn't mean-spirited jabs, it's light-hearted banter that pokes at his tough guy facade, inviting him to drop the mask and connect on a real level. Picture this. It reminds me of a quiet dinner with a Stoic ex, the candlelight flickering across the table, casting long shadows on the walls, the faint clink of wine glasses in the air. He was all closed off, projecting that unbreakable vibe, but I teased him gently about how his tough guy act was just hiding a soft spot for romantic movies. At first he bristled, but then a grin cracked through, and suddenly the air crackled with electric connection. It sparked instant passion, healing both our insecurities, mine from past rejections, his from fearing vulnerability. Quick aside, try this over text if you're long distance. A witty emoji can tease just as effectively. This taps into Freud's repressed urges, challenging his ego in a way that Nietzsche would applaud as affirming life's vitality, all while unpacking attachment wounds that make such moments crave-worthy. Why does this work so potently? Science sheds light. A 2024 Kinsey Institute report reveals that 62% of yet unchecked desire can spiral, risking emotional chaos if not balanced with Stoic boundaries, turning potential risks into seductive power. Continuing that thought on unchecked desire's risks, let's channel Marcus Aurelius' Stoic restraint to make mystery your ultimate ally, because what you withhold often ignites more than what you give. We've been stirring those hidden desires with whispers and teasing, but now, building on that unconscious depth, we're shifting to the power of mystery and restraint. This is where Schopenhauer's insatiable will, that blind drive for more, meets attachment theory's secure base, creating a foundation where you hold back just enough to fuel his passion ethically. As your big sister who's learned this the hard way, I can tell you, restraint isn't withholding love. It's intelligent boundary work that protects your self-worth while drawing him in deeper, fostering mutual respect across any relationship landscape. Think about it archetypally. In the male unconscious, mystery taps into Jung's anima as the enigmatic muse, the one who promises forbidden revelations without spelling them out. Freud would point to the allure of the unspoken, those repressed urges that build tension like a coiled spring. But here's the contrarian wisdom. While society pushes us to overshare for connection, true seduction thrives on what's unsaid, aligning with Nietzsche's idea of power through self-mastery. Men crave this because their attachment styles often leave them hungry for a woman who provides a secure emotional anchor without flooding them. It's that dark twist where restraint reveals their hidden yearnings, healing trauma wounds for both of you. Stoic emotional fortitude kicks in here. As Epictetus taught, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Apply that to seduction, and you cultivate enigmatic allure that ignites passion instantly, building resilience against relational shadows. This brings us to moves 5 and 6, perfect for channeling that power. First, strategic silence that builds tension. Ever caught yourself over-explaining, spilling every thought just to keep the conversation going, only to kill the spark? What if silence could be your seductive superpower, letting the unsaid simmer and draw him closer? This evolves directly from those whispered secrets we talked about, where intimacy starts with words but deepens when you pull back, creating space for his imagination to run wild. It's not ignoring him. It's a calculated pause, maybe mid-story, that leaves him hanging, his Schopenhauer-esque will pushing him to pursue. As women, we often fear silence means disconnection, but reframed as ethical self-defense, it empowers you to set boundaries that protect your energy, inviting him to step up in a way that promotes mutual growth. Then there's the sixth move, enigmatic smiles that hint at depths. A subtle, knowing curve of your lips paired with that restrained gaze suggests worlds of mystery without a single word. It's like teasing his ego playfully, but now through expression alone, building on that banter by letting your smile do the challenging, hinting at vulnerabilities and desires you're not quite ready to reveal. This taps into the female unconscious too, awakening your inner siren who knows her worth while stirring his forbidden cravings. Machiavelli might see it as strategic allure, but we ground it in Stoic wisdom from Seneca. True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future. Use that smile to stay present, fostering fortitude that turns fleeting attraction into something profound. Let me share a micro story to bring this home. I once found myself at a lively party, the room buzzing with laughter and the scent of spiced cocktails mingling with faint perfume. There was this charming skeptic, all witty comebacks and guarded charm, chatting me up but keeping things surface level. Mid-conversation, as he rambled about his latest adventure, I went silent, just held his gaze with a knowing smile, like I held a secret that could unravel him. The music pulsed in the background, but the tension between us thickened. He leaned in, suddenly eager, his eyes searching mine for clues. That smile drew him back like a moth to flame, revealing his hidden cravings for depth he hadn't even admitted to himself. In moments, the spark ignited, turning casual talk into electric connection. Quick aside, this works wonders in group settings too. Try it next time you're out. And the research confirms it. A 2022 study in evolutionary psychology showed that perceived mystery increases male pursuit by 37%, straight from Sage journals, highlighting how restraint amps up desire evolutionarily. So what? The payoff is empowering. This builds trauma-informed self-worth, turning restraint into a tool for ethical self-defense and mutual respect, where you master the dynamic without coercion. We've all chased validation at some point, Poe. Yet true mastery comes when you blend this restraint with bold, confident action, where vulnerability opens doors we didn't know existed. Finishing that idea, when restraint meets bold confidence, you create an unstoppable force, because a woman who owns her worth doesn't beg for passion, she commands it. We've been playing with mystery through silence and smiles, holding back to build tension, but now, building on that enigmatic allure, we're flipping to bold confidence as seduction. This is where Machiavelli's strategic power, knowing when to advance, meets Epictetus' Stoic self-reliance, teaching you to depend on your inner strength alone. As your empowering big sister who's reclaimed her fire after too many dimmed sparks, I can attest. Confidence isn't arrogance. It's ethical self-defense that heals attachment traumas, creating resilient relationships where passion thrives on mutual respect, no matter the dynamic. Let's delve into the archetypal side. Bold confidence embodies Jung's warrior archetype in the female lens, the fierce guardian of self-worth who commands attention without apology. It stirs Freud's primal drives, that id-fueled attraction to strength, while Schopenhauer's blind will pushes men toward women who exude unshakable mastery. Here's the contrarian twist. Society often tells us to shrink to let him lead, but true seduction flips that your confidence triggers his unconscious desires, healing those early wounds where vulnerability felt unsafe. Nietzsche would see it as affirming your will to power, not to dominate, but to elevate both of you. Men are drawn to this because it provides a secure base in attachment theory terms. A partner who's solid, inviting them to match your energy without fear of collapse. It's that dark revelation. Confidence exposes relational shadows, but with Stoic fortitude from Marcus Aurelius, reject your sense of injury and the injury itself disappears. You turn potential pain into profound connection. This unshakable self-mastery shines in moves 7 and 8, contrasting beautifully with the restraint we've built. First, assertive body language that exudes dominance. Have you ever stood tall, shoulders back, claiming your space, and watched him gravitate toward you like gravity itself shifted? Or pondered why confidence in women triggers primal male desire, pulling at those hidden instincts? This builds on strategic silence, where you held back words. Now you project presence through posture, a steady gaze, or a purposeful stride that says, "I'm here and I'm worthy." It's not overpowering, it's intelligent boundary work, setting the tone ethically to protect your heart while igniting his pursuit. As women, we often minimize ourselves to seem approachable, But this move empowers you to command the room, fostering mutual growth by encouraging him to rise up too. Then comes the eighth move, direct compliments that flip the script on vulnerability. Instead of waiting for his praise, you lead with bold affirmations of what draws you to him, like his intellect or resilience, delivered with unwavering certainty. This contrasts enigmatic smiles by adding words to your confidence, turning restraint into action that reveals just enough to spark fire. It's a bold stroke, tapping into the male unconscious where admiration from a strong woman awakens forbidden desires, all while healing trauma-informed self-worth for both. I remember putting this to the test on a tense date, the kind where the air felt heavy with unspoken doubts, the dim restaurant lights casting flickering shadows on the linen tablecloth, and the distant hum of conversations blending with the clink of silverware. He was holding back, testing the waters, but I leaned in with unwavering posture, chin up, eyes locked, and complimented his hidden strength, saying something like, "I see how you navigate chaos with that quiet power, it's magnetic." Instantly, the dynamic shifted. His guarded expressions softened, eyes igniting with electric mutual attraction, pulling us into a deeper, more passionate exchange. It wasn't coercion, it was me owning my confidence, creating space for his vulnerabilities to emerge safely. Quick aside, this pairs perfectly with virtual interactions. A confident voice note can command just as much attention. Science underscores the impact. A 2025 meta-analysis in psychological science found that confident nonverbal cues boost perceived attractiveness by 50% in cross-gender interactions, courtesy of the APS, proving evolution favors the bold. So what? The payoff is contrarian wisdom. Seduction becomes self-improvement, fostering emotional fortitude against relational shadows, where you master desire without chasing it. Sisters, remember those self-doubt moments when insecurity dimmed your light? We're rewriting them now, drawing on Seneca's insight. Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. Prepare your confidence, and passion follows. Why does this archetype command such instant ignition? It reveals the male shadow, his own suppressed boldness mirroring back what he craves but fears to claim. Machiavelli's strategies ensure you advance wisely, while attachment healing builds lasting bonds. Yet, true confidence isn't armor. It's laced with vulnerability, allowing deeper layers to emerge safely. Wrapping up that vulnerability thread, true confidence shines when paired with emotional depth, turning surface sparks into soul-deep fires that neither of you can ignore. We've been commanding attention with bold postures and compliments, owning our space to ignite passion. But now, building on that unshakable foundation, we're diving into emotional depth and vulnerability. This is where Freud's idea of emotional catharsis, releasing those pent-up feelings, meets Seneca's Stoic acceptance of pain, reminding us that embracing our scars builds true strength. Through a trauma-informed lens, we see how sharing shadows ethically heals both partners, creating bonds resilient to relational pitfalls. As your big sister who's bared her soul and come out fiercer, I know this. Vulnerability isn't a risk when rooted in confidence. It's intelligent boundary work that safeguards your heart while sparking his deepest desires, promoting mutual growth in every kind of connection. Archetypally speaking, emotional depth taps into Jung's shadow integration, where vulnerability reveals the hidden facets of the self, transforming forbidden desires into shared revelations. It's the contrarian wisdom that flips the script. What society calls weakness is actually a warrior's tool, stirring Schopenhauer's insatiable will toward profound intimacy. Men crave this because their male unconscious, often armored against emotional exposure, yearns for a woman who models safe openness, echoing attachment theory's secure bonds that mend early wounds. Nietzsche might frame it as overcoming through affirmation, facing pain to reach ecstasy, while Machiavelli's cunning reminds us to curate what we share strategically. The dark, empowering twist. Vulnerability exposes relational shadows, but with Stoic fortitude from Epictetus. Make the best use of what is in your power. You turn it into a seductive force, healing trauma-informed self-worth and fostering resilience that ignites passion on a soul level. This depth comes alive in moves 9 and 10, enabled by the confidence we've cultivated. That bold base makes vulnerability feel safe, not exposed. First, sharing curated stories that expose your strength. What if vulnerability wasn't weakness, but your secret weapon, a tale of triumph over adversity that draws him in? Ever shared a scar, emotional or otherwise, and seen his passion roar to life as if your courage unlocked his own hidden fire? This isn't dumping your baggage. It's selectively revealing a chapter, like a challenge you've overcome, that showcases your resilience, mirroring his unconscious struggles and building instant connection. As women, we often hold back these stories to seem flawless, but reframed as ethical self-defense, it sets boundaries on what you disclose, empowering you to lead the emotional dance. The 10th move complements this, empathetic listening that mirrors his unconscious. Here, you don't just hear him, you reflect back his deeper feelings with gentle insight, showing you see the man beneath the mask. This builds on curated sharing by inviting reciprocity, where your empathy acts as a bridge to his forbidden desires, all without coercion. It's a subtle mastery, tapping into the female lens to navigate his mysteries, creating space for mutual vulnerability that amps up attraction. Let me paint a picture from my own life. I was with a reserved partner one rainy evening, the kind where thunder rumbled outside our cozy living room, the scent of chamomile tea lingering in the air as we sat on the worn couch, dim lamplight casting soft glows on our faces. Things felt distant, his walls up high, but I opened up about a past betrayal, how it shattered me but rebuilt me stronger, sharing just enough to show my scars without overwhelming. Then with an empathetic ear, I listened as he hesitated, gently mirroring back. It sounds like that fear still echoes for you. I've felt something similar. His reserve cracked. He shared his own buried pain, and in that exchange, an instant, passionate bond forged, the air charged with soul-level electricity that pulled us closer than words alone could. It healed us both, turning vulnerability into shared strength. Quick aside, this works in any setting, even over coffee. Start small and watch the depth unfold. The science is compelling too. A 2024 study from the American Psychological Association found that emotional sharing increases oxytocin and attraction by 40%, directly from the APA, underscoring how vulnerability biologically fuels desire. So what? The payoff is profound. This builds resilience, reframing vulnerability. Yet to truly amplify this depth, infuse it with playfulness, where serious moments become irresistible invitations. Completing that playfulness note, when emotional depth meets teasing adventure, you keep the flame not just lit, but roaring. Because men crave the thrill of the chase with a woman who plays masterfully. We've been forging soul-deep bonds through shared stories and empathetic listening, bearing vulnerabilities to ignite passion. But now, building on that emotional foundation, we're infusing it with playful teasing and adventure. This lightens the depth, blending Nietzsche's joyful affirmation of life's vitality, embracing chaos with glee, with attachment theory's playful security, where fun creates a safe space for desires to flourish. Stoic adaptability from Marcus Aurelius guides us here. Adapt yourself to the things among which your lot has been cast, turning everyday moments into seductive escapades. As your big sister who's turned heartbreak into playful triumphs, I assure you, this isn't frivolous. It's ethical self-defense against relational boredom, building resilience that sustains passion ethically across diverse connections, all while honoring mutual respect. Archetypally, playful adventure evokes Jung's trickster archetype in the female unconscious, the clever disruptor who injects mischief to reveal hidden truths and forbidden desires. It taps into Freud's pleasure principle, where lighthearted risk releases repressed energies, while Schopenhauer's blind will drives men toward the excitement of unpredictability. Here's the contrarian twist. While depth can feel heavy, play keeps it alive, challenging the notion that seduction must be serious. It's actually a warrior's tool for self-mastery, healing trauma wounds by making vulnerability fun. Men are drawn to this because their attachment styles often crave the security of play, a break from stoic facades that mirrors their inner child's yearning for adventure. Machiavelli might applaud the strategy of surprise, but we frame it as mutual growth, using Epictetus's wisdom. Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. Want less seriousness, and passion thrives, fostering stoic emotional fortitude against shadows that threaten to dull the spark. These themes culminate in our final two moves, 11 and 12, where play amplifies the depth we've built, turning profound connections into exhilarating ones. First, adventurous suggestions that surprise. Have you ever turned a mundane moment like a lazy afternoon into electric play by proposing something unexpected? What if adventure was the key to his instant turn-on, pulling him out of routine and into your magnetic orbit? This lightens curated storytelling by adding action. Suggest a spontaneous outing like a midnight drive or trying a new thrill that catches him off guard and stirs his senses. It's not reckless. It's intelligent boundary work, choosing adventures that align with your comfort, empowering you to lead while inviting his participation. As women, we often wait for him to initiate fun, but this move flips it, creating shared excitement that ignites desire ethically. The 12th move seals it, flirtatious banter that builds tension. This is witty, teasing exchanges that poke fun lightly, ramping up the chemistry without crossing lines. It complements empathetic listening by adding levity. After he shares something deep, respond with playful jabs that show you're engaged and unafraid. This taps into the male unconscious, awakening forbidden playfulness he suppressed, all while promoting self-worth through fun boundaries. I recall a spontaneous hike that brought this to life. It was a crisp autumn day, leaves crunching underfoot on a winding trail, the air alive with the earthy scent of pine and distant birdsong, sunlight filtering through the canopy in golden shafts. I was with this guy who boasted about his adventurer spirit, all bravado and no bite, so I teased him gently. "Oh, big explorer, think you can keep up with me?" As we navigated a steep incline, our laughter echoing off the rocks. The banter built tension, his competitive spark igniting into passionate chemistry. By the trail's end, the air between us crackled with that instant, roaring attraction, turning a simple outing into something unforgettable. It lightened our earlier deep talks, blending vulnerability with thrill. Quick aside, if outdoors isn't your thing, try this at home with a game night, same electric effect. Research backs the potency. According to a 2023 report in the Journal of Sex Research, playful interactions heighten arousal in 68% of men, straight from Taylor and Francis, showing how fun biologically amps up desire. So what? The payoff empowers you with contrarian twists, play as ethical defense against boredom, promoting self-mastery where you control the narrative, healing self-worth, and building resilient bonds. Sisters, life's too short for dull love, let's eye. Yet to sustain these 12 moves resiliently over time, weaving them into your daily dynamic with stoic grace, you'll need a blueprint for weaving them into your life with purpose. Picking up on sustaining resilience, now let's apply these 12 moves in real life, because knowledge without action is just a whisper in the wind, time to make them roar. We've infused depth with playfulness, turning vulnerability into thrilling banter and adventures, but application is where the magic happens, tailoring these to your world, drawing on Marcus Aurelius' practical wisdom. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one. Or in our case, be the empowered woman who ignites passion ethically. As your big sister who's turned theory into triumphs, I'll show you how, blending pop-psych self-worth practices with archetypal scenarios that build stoic mental strength. Ensuring these moves foster mutual growth in diverse relationships, from fresh sparks to long-haul commitments. Let's ground this archetypally. These moves tap into universal patterns, like Jung's anima calling forth the siren's mystery through eye contact and touch, evolving into the shadow's revelations via whispers and teasing, then the warrior's confidence in bold postures, all culminating in the trickster's play. Freud's id drives the instant ignition, while Schopenhauer's will keeps the pursuit alive, but practical application reframes it all as intelligent boundary work, adapting to real scenarios without coercion, healing trauma-informed self-worth. Nietzsche's affirmation encourages bold tweaks, Machiavelli's strategy ensures timing, and attachment theory reminds us secure bonds thrive on adaptive play. The contrarian twist. Routine relationships often dim passion, but Stoic adaptability from Epictetus. Don't demand that things happen as you wish, but wish that they happen as they do, turns everyday moments into seductive opportunities, building resilience against relational shadows. Ever wondered how these ignite in long-term bonds, where familiarity can breed complacency? What if one tweak turned routine into passion, like blending mysterious eye contact with playful banter to reignite that initial fire? That's the beauty of making them your own, customizing for your dynamic, whether it's a new fling or a committed partnership. Take a fresh encounter. Start with the siren's gaze and subtle touch to establish allure, then stir the unconscious with whispered secrets and ego-challenging teases, holding back with strategic silence and enigmatic smiles to build mystery. Layer in bold confidence through assertive body language and direct compliments, deepen with curated stories and empathetic listening, and cap it off with adventurous suggestions and flirtatious banter. It's a seamless flow, each move amplifying the last, creating instant passion that's ethical and empowering. In long-term scenarios, where attachment wounds might surface, adapt with stoic grace. For instance, if things feel stale, revive the spark by weaving restraint's enigmatic smile into emotional depth sharing. Perhaps during a quiet evening, use assertive posture to command attention, then share a curated story that exposes strength, followed by an adventurous suggestion like a surprise weekend getaway. This not only stirs his hidden desires but fosters mutual respect, healing self-worth through shared growth. Quick aside, in diverse relationships like poly or queer dynamics, focus on the female lens of mastery, adapt touches to consent and comfort, ensuring equity. I coached a friend through this exact synthesis, and it transformed her world. She was in a marriage where the passion had faded to embers, nights filled with the hum of the TV and the scent of takeout lingering in their cozy apartment, conversations reduced to logistics. Feeling that post-heartbreak void echo in her own home, she confided in me, and I suggested blending the siren's mysterious eye contact with flirtatious banter on a planned date night at home. She locked eyes across the dinner table, holding that teasing vulnerability, then playfully bantered about his mysterious work stories, weaving in a subtle touch and an adventurous twist by suggesting they dance in the living room like old times. Instantly, his indifference turned to fire, the air charged with electric reconnection, reigniting their marriage's spark as he leaned in, drawn by her empowered play. It wasn't magic, it was her owning the moves, turning shadows into strength. And the data supports this adaptability. A 2025 survey by Matchcom revealed 55% of men feel more passionate with adaptive seduction tactics, from their Insights report, highlighting how real-world tweaks sustain desire. So what? The payoff is real-world mastery that fosters emotional fortitude, turning insights into tools for navigating relational shadows, where you emerge resilient and self-assured. We've all stumbled in love at some point, chasing without scent. Yet even with these tools, setbacks happen, missteps or resistances that test your fortitude, but overcoming them requires a deeper dive into resilience. Continuing from those setbacks, true seductive power comes from Stoic resilience, because rejection isn't defeat, it's fuel for your unquenchable fire. We've been applying these 12 moves in real-world scenarios, from reigniting marriages with eye contact and banter to sparking new connections through adventurous twists. But let's face it, not every attempt lands perfectly. Missteps happen, a bold compliment falls flat, or playful teasing misfires, and that's where building resilience against rejection becomes your secret weapon. Drawing from Epictetus' dichotomy of control, what you can influence versus what you can't, this part empowers you to fortify your seductive mastery. As your big sister who's turned countless rejections into rocket fuel for better love, I'll show you how blending Jung's shadow integration with trauma healing to reframe failures as contrarian empowerment, ensuring these moves lead to ethical, passionate relationships built on unshakable self-worth. Archetypally, resilience taps into the warrior archetype's endurance, where facing the shadow, those dark moments of rejection, integrates hidden strengths, much like Jung described. It's the forbidden revelation that pain uncovers your true power, stirring Freud's repressed emotions into growth rather than despair. Schopenhauer's blind will might drive initial desires, but when it meets resistance, Stoic tools redirect that energy inward, healing attachment wounds that make rejection feel like catastrophe. Nietzsche's overcoming through hardship adds the twist. Embrace the struggle, and you affirm your will, turning vulnerabilities into seductive allure. Men respond to this because a resilient woman embodies the anima's depth, unfazed, magnetic, drawing them toward mutual respect without neediness. The contrarian wisdom. Society says rejection crushes. We say it refines, using Machiavelli's cunning to pivot strategically, fostering Stoic emotional fortitude that protects against relational shadows in any dynamic, from casual dates to deep commitments. This resilience shines when applied to those practical examples we explored, like my friend's marriage revival. What if, instead of crumbling when banter doesn't land, you use Epictetus control to focus on your response? Have you bounced back stronger from a fizzled spark, emerging with a glow that pulls better matches? What if Stoicism made you rejection-proof, transforming an ignored whisper into a lesson in timing? Key here is reframing failures as growth. When a move like strategic silence backfires into awkwardness, integrate the shadow by reflecting, what boundary did I overlook? This trauma-informed approach heals self-worth, turning the sting into intelligent boundary work that safeguards your heart ethically. In long-term bonds, if assertive body language meets resistance, pause with Seneca's insight. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Detach, reassess, and adapt. Perhaps layer in empathetic listening next time, creating space for his unconscious to open without force. For fresh encounters, say an adventurous suggestion flops, leaving you feeling exposed, lean into Stoic adaptability. Recognize what's in your control, your mindset, not his reaction. This builds mental strength, reframing the setback as a filter for worthy partners, promoting mutual growth where passion ignites naturally. Quick aside, in diverse relationships like non-monogamous ones, resilience means honoring varied boundaries. Use rejection as a cue to communicate openly, centering your female mastery. I learned this firsthand after a move backfired spectacularly. It was a humid summer night, the kind where city lights blurred through rain-streaked windows, and I was on a promising date in a bustling bar, the murmur of conversations mixing with the clink of glasses. I tried blending enigmatic smiles with direct compliments, owning my confidence, but he pulled back, misreading it as too forward, leaving me with that chill of rejection knotting my stomach. Instead of spiraling, I turned to Aurelius' reflections. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. I detached, journaling the shadow lessons, what triggered my overreach. Emerging from that night, I healed a lingering attachment wound, my allure deepened by quiet fortitude. Soon after, better connections flowed in, men drawn to my resilient vibe, igniting passions that felt authentic and mutual. It wasn't about winning him back. It was self-mastery, turning pain into a seductive edge. Science affirms this path. Per a 2024 study in Resilience Journal, Stoic practices reduce emotional distress in dating by 42%, from Springer proving mindset shifts buffer against rejection's bite. So what? The payoff is profound. You achieve self-mastery, turning Shah. Yet the ultimate freedom lies in detachment from outcomes, where true rebirth awaits through self-worth unchained from external validation. Finishing that detachment idea, in embracing emotional freedom, you experience rebirth, detaching from outcomes to thrive in love's depths with Stoic peace. We've built resilience against rejection, turning setbacks into stepping stones for seductive mastery. But now, as we wrap this journey, let's culminate in the ultimate empowerment, owning your seductive power through emotional freedom and rebirth. This synthesizes Seneca's tranquility, the calm amid storms, with Freud's liberation from repression, where releasing suppressed desires leads to wholeness. Through attachment rebirth, you heal old wounds, emerging with archetypal completeness that integrates all 12 moves into a life of mutual growth and profound passion. As your big sister who's risen from love's ashes more times than I can count, I promise, this isn't the end. It's your beginning, a dark, empowering revelation where seduction becomes ethical self-mastery, centering the female lens to navigate mysteries with unyielding grace across any relationship. Archetypally, this rebirth embodies Jung's individuation, the union of conscious and unconscious, where the siren's allure from mysterious eye contact and touch merges with the shadow's depths stirred by whispers and teasing, fortified by the warrior's confidence in bold postures and compliments, deepened by vulnerabilities, stories, and listening, lightened by the trickster's adventures and banter, all applied resiliently in real scenarios. Nietzsche's eternal recurrence urges you to affirm every moment, even painful ones, while Schopenhauer's will transforms from blind craving to directed power. Freud's catharsis frees repressed urges, but Stoic wisdom elevates it. Epictetus teaches detachment from what's beyond control, like his response, focusing instead on your inner peace. The Contrarian twist. Chasing validation dims your fire. Detaching rebirths it, healing trauma-informed self-worth as intelligent boundary work that fosters equity and respect. Men are magnetized to this freed woman. Her passion ignites theirs authentically, pulling forbidden desires into light without coercion, creating bonds resilient to shadows. This emotional freedom comes from integrating the moves with detachment, using them not to win him, but to express your wholeness. Ever felt reborn after letting go of a forced connection, your energy soaring? What if owning your shadows freed you forever, turning seduction into a dance of self-mastery? It's Stoic inner peace in action. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Shift yours from neediness to abundance and watch passion flow naturally. In practice, blend the siren's gaze with enigmatic smiles, detaching from his immediate reaction. Perhaps he leans in, perhaps not, your worth remains intact. For deeper layers, pair whispered secrets with empathetic listening, releasing attachment to reciprocity, allowing mutual growth to unfold organically. This detachment from validation rebirths you, shedding old patterns like anxious attachments, emerging with fortitude that makes bold compliments or playful banter effortless tools for ignition. I lived this rebirth myself, detaching from a toxic chase that had me tangled in shadows. It was a foggy autumn morning, the kind where mist clung to the streets like unresolved regrets, and I sat alone in my quiet apartment, the faint aroma of coffee grounding me as I stared at an unanswered text. Another failed attempt at stirring his unconscious with teasing vulnerability. The pull of validation gripped me, echoing past betrayals, but I drew on Seneca's tranquility. True happiness is to enjoy the present. I let go, journaling my shadows, the fears of unworthiness, and focused on self-rebirth, integrating the moves inwardly first. Days turned to weeks. I owned my power ethically, no longer chasing. Then in a chance encounter at a cozy bookstore, the air thick with the scent of aged pages, I locked eyes with someone new, using curated stories without attachment, my reborn allure drawing him in. It ignited authentic passions that healed us both, his hidden desires surfacing in a bond built on respect, not desperation. Quick aside, this works in any phase, even long-term, detach from routines to rebirth the spark. The evidence is clear. A 2025 APA study shows detachment practices boost relationship satisfaction by 48%, directly from the APA, illustrating how letting go enhances connection biologically. So what? The payoff is profound empowerment. Seduction becomes a path to thriving, not just surviving, where you master the male unconscious ethically, healing your female depths for lasting peace. We've journeyed far, sisters, from awakening the siren to playful adventures, resilient applications, and now this freedom. Now own it, drawing on Mach. I remember emerging from my own fog of relational chaos, the weight of anxious attachments lifting like mist burning off a sunrise-kissed lake, the crisp air filling my lungs as I stood taller, owning my shadows without apology. Quick aside, try detaching from one expectation this week. Watch how it frees you. That rebirth? It transformed everything, drawing in connections rooted in respect, not need. You've got this power too. Reflect on these moves, integrate them with trauma-informed healing, and watch how they heal your attachment wounds, building resilience against those dark relational pitfalls. What if owning the male and female unconscious wasn't about control, but about harmonious dance? You're not surviving love anymore. You're thriving in it with stoic inner peace that makes every seductive spark a step toward profound self-improvement. If these insights hit home, like the video to let me know, it's your way of saying this resonated. Subscribe to Psyche for more tools to master your shadows and build that unquenchable fire within. Share it with a sister who's ready for this wisdom and comment below. What's one boundary you'll set this week to ignite your own passion ethically? Let's keep this community of empowered women growing, supporting each other through the mysteries. Remember, the woman who owns her shadows doesn't just survive love, she thrives in it.